Hey folks, welcome to the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. If you like what you've been hearing so far on the network, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel. Lots of great content coming up here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Have some great interviews coming up in the near future, as well as more great content. So please feel free to hit that subscribe button and make me a happy person. Thank you very much. Okay, let's get into some news. Davey Boy Smith Jr. officially done with MLW. And the question is, where is he going to end up? There's a number of destinations number of potential destinations for Davey Boy Smith Jr. Of course, the WWE, there's AEW, Impact Wrestling. He could head out to New Japan Pro Wrestling. He says WWE is a possibility. He didn't say it was a definite foregone conclusion. He said it was a possibility. I personally don't think he's going to go to WWE. I don't think he wants to get lost in the shuffle in WWE land. I think he's going to either sign with AEW or Impact Wrestling. I would love to see him in Impact Wrestling, especially with the AEW Impact Wrestling working agreement right now, the partnership. War is about to take place there between the two promotions. And I would love to see Davey Boy Smith on the side of Impact Wrestling. That would add another top star to Impact Wrestling as they head towards a potential war between Impact Wrestling and AEW. So I would love to see Davey Boy Smith sign with Impact Wrestling. But again, AEW is a possibility, of course, for Davey Boy Smith Jr. I know there was talk of him possibly heading over. I think he was supposed to head over to All Japan Pro Wrestling and feud with Kento Miyahara for the Triple Crown Championship. But because of COVID-19, he wasn't able to do that. So All Japan Pro Wrestling might be in the future for Davey Boy Smith Jr. But he can write his own ticket right now. He's proved himself. He's 35 years old. He's proved himself in the world of professional wrestling. Wherever he ends up, I'm sure he's going to be a big star. Although I do feel if he does sign with the WWE that he will probably get lost in the shuffle over there. As I said, if I was Davey Boy Smith Jr., if I was choosing for Davey Boy Smith Jr., I would point him in the direction of Impact Wrestling. I think he could go there and be a top star immediately. Again, it will be a great addition in the Impact Wrestling AEW partnership that's currently happening. If I could point you in the direction of where I would like you to go, it would definitely be Impact Wrestling. Because think about it, he could have some great feuds there. He could actually align himself with Joe Doring and Eric Young, and they could make a great faction there. He could have great matches with Eddie Edwards, great matches with Moose. He would have a great match with Sami Callihan. There's a lot of potential in Impact Wrestling for Davey Boy Smith Jr. So I'm hoping he signs with Impact Wrestling. And actually, I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to predict that he's going to sign with Impact Wrestling. There we go. I'm predicting it. I'll make the prediction. Hopefully it'll ring true, and he will sign with Impact Wrestling. I know he was interested in Impact Wrestling prior to signing with MLW, but there was something with New Japan Pro Wrestling that prevented him from signing with Impact Wrestling. I'm not sure exactly what it was. I don't want to speculate, but I know there was interest on his part in signing with Impact Wrestling. So we'll see. We'll see where Davey Boy Smith ends up. I'm sure he will pick a place very, very soon, a destination very, very soon. I know you got Hard to Kill coming up. In January. Impact Wrestling would love to. That'd be a great place for Davey Boy Smith to make his debut at Hard to Kill. As you can tell by now, I'm really hoping he signs with Impact Wrestling. Okay, so let's move on. Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel, a member of the Rascals, formerly at Impact Wrestling, with Dez and Wentz. Now, Dez and Wentz, Desmond Xavier, Zachary Wentz, both signed with the WWE, and it was expected that Trey Miguel was going to join them as well. But if you saw the picture, the Performance Center picture, Trey Miguel is not in that picture, and you're kind of thinking, where's Trey Miguel? From what I've been reading, he's trying to decide between WWE and AEW. He's weighing his options there, so he hasn't actually signed a deal with WWE, obviously. So he's weighing his options there. I'm sure he'll make a decision very soon. He's thinking if he wants to remain a team with the Rascals or if he wants to branch out on his own and sign with AEW. I'm gonna say he's gonna sign with AEW. I'm gonna say that he's gonna want to branch out on his own and see what he can do as a solo wrestler. And he's very, very talented. I think he would go very, very far in the world of professional wrestling as a solo wrestler. He's proven how good he is in Impact Wrestling. I'm thinking he's gonna sign with AEW. I think he was going to sign with WWE. I think he would have signed the contract already, and he would have been in that Performance Center picture. But he hasn't signed it, so I'm saying he's going to sign with the AEW, and I'll keep my eyes open. I'll keep my eyes peeled, as you should, in the near future to see where Trey Miguel ends up. Now in MLW, Cody Hall recently signed a contract with MLW, but apparently Cody Hall and MLW have agreed to part ways before Cody Hall has had a chance to debut. It was said that they were going to put Cody Hall with Contra, or they were going to team him with Brian Pillman Jr., but the two parties decided to part ways, and Cody Hall no longer in MLW. I have a theory. I think this could be a swerve. I think Cody Hall is actually Mads Kruger. Mads Kruger, who debuted last week on MLW Fusion. I think it's a swerve. I think Cody Hall is Mads Kruger. Now, Cody Hall does have a tattoo. I think it says Carp DM on his arm and his chest. I didn't quite see that on Mads Kruger, but Mads Kruger was wearing a black shirt, and you could always cover up a tattoo to cover that up. So I have a feeling that this whole thing's a swerve, and Cody Hall is actually Mads Kruger. But we'll see. We'll see if we ever find out if Cody Hall is in fact Mads Kruger, the new Black Hand of Contra. Speaking of Contra, there's a huge MLW match coming up next week on Fusion. It's the Von Eriks, the MLW World Tag Team Champions, defending their titles against the MLW Heavyweight Champion Jacob Fatu and Simon Gotch. Good gosh, that is going to be one hell of a main event. I can't wait for that. That's going to be fantastic. The Von Eriks defending their titles against Jacob Fatu and Simon Gotch. You can't get much better than that. That's going to be just an electrifying match. Very much looking forward to that one. I don't think the Von Eriks are going to lose the titles, but there's a very good chance that Jacob Fatu becomes the double champion. Very good chance that he becomes the double champion. But we'll see. If you're a wrestling fan, you should definitely watch next week as the Von Eriks defend the MLW tag team titles against Contra. One thing I wanted to say before I go, Triple H, in response to the Impact Wrestling AEW partnership, Triple H has stated that the WWE is open for business to work with other promotions as long as it benefits the WWE. So think about what he said. He says they're open to working with other promotions as long as it benefits them. As long as it benefits them. See, that's here's the difference. The AEW Impact Wrestling partnership is being done to benefit, in my opinion, the fans. And that's how AEW is thinking. They're out to benefit the fans. What is best for the fans? So this AEW Impact Wrestling partnership is for the benefit of the fans. Triple H says that the WWE will get into a partnership with another promotion as long as it benefits them. AEW Impact Wrestling are in the partnership because it benefits the fans. That's the number one difference between AEW Impact Wrestling and the WWE. WWE is about them. AEW Impact Wrestling, it's about the fans. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to say thank you very much for listening today. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. This is the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. And until next time, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.